I need to do a data science project. I think it's time to do a data science project. What project should I do? Oh, I know. I have a great idea. There's this data set of iris flowers, and then you could build a machine learning model to predict what type of flower each iris is. I think that'd be a great project. Yeah, let's do it. Oh my god, 97% accuracy. That's like super good. I just made like an amazing model. Let the now I did the project. I'm ready for a job. Oh my god. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm open to work. Yeah. So, hopefully you didn't actually think that that was my project. And you'll also be relieved to know that when I'm coding, I don't listen to that dubstep crap. I was just doing that to be funny. But anyway, I'm going to talk about what my project actually is. So I am going to make a lead scoring application for a ad analytics and tracking company that I've been following for the past 2 years. And the reason why I came to deciding to do a lead scoring project is because I was looking at their jobs, and while I didn't see any data science job listings, I did see that they were looking for a VP of sales. And I know that having a machine like this can't obviously replace a salesperson, but I think this would be a good tool for their team to use. So that's basically the the gist behind it. And I've also know that they are looking to focus more on outbound outreach, outbound marketing strategies, which is like outreach, like cold emails and cold calls and stuff and whatnot, as opposed to like inbound marketing, which is what they've been mostly relying on up until this point, and referrals as well. But they're trying to scale, and they see that this is the best way to get more customers to scale higher. So that's like that's the gist behind this. And the project, what things it must be able to do is it has to be able to quantify the quality of a given lead. That's the main objective. And then it needs to be able to probably score, I would say probably 100 leads at a time within a reasonable time frame. Because generally what happens is a sales team they'll get new leads in per day, and then they need to evaluate those leads on a daily basis as they come in. So we're going to expect that the company will get about 100 leads a day. Um, and that's assuming, because in the past month they've gotten 100 new customers. So assuming 10% rate, that's 1,000 leads in a month, 30 to 35 leads a day. But we want to leave them a lot of room for growth, so that's why I picked 100. So, and then so I need to be able to do that in a reasonable time frame. Like the model can't be some large complex model that takes forever to make 100 predictions essentially. And speed is going to be a good selling point. If I can make it really fast, then I should definitely bring that up when sharing it with people. I guess salespeople are impatient. And but like the quality is a higher priority. than being really fast. And then most of the users are going to be using laptops, so I'm going to have that in mind when I'm designing the actual app. So, and I got these requirements is what I gathered from messaging a couple sales reps, not at that particular company, but just like in the tech industry. So there's the model is not just gonna be like a simple like binary classification. There's gonna be two. As of now, I plan on having two models. I'm gonna have a binary classification model, which is like predicts on a scale of 0 to 1 how likely the particular lead is to close, how likely the company is to close them. And then we'll have another regression model that predict the value of an individual customer, like what that customer is worth to the company, because their pricing model, they do not have a fixed pricing model. So their pricing model is based off of how much they can either save a company in ad spend, or how much more ROI a company can get a company with their ad spend, basically. So if we can predict how much they're worth, then that's also an important factor, because it could be that like, okay, you may be like have a customer at like 500 or 1,000 a month that's very likely to close, and then you have a $10,000 a month customer that's not as likely to close, but like the difference is close enough that it's actually worth it to go after the whale customer, because there's still a reasonably high chance of closing them. So something like that would be important to know for them, because they have an unfixed pricing model. And then I'd like to put that on a scale of 1 to 10. And a reason for that is because there's this guy at the gym that I go to, and he's a sales rep, and I heard him on a sales call one time, and he kept talking to the client, and he kept saying like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is this? On a scale of 1 to 10, how is that, and whatnot. So it may be biased, but it leads me to think that they like to they like to operate on a scale of 1 to 10, because if you're on a scale of 0 to 1, that sounds kind of nerdy, like, oh, they're a 0.8 or a 0.7 rather than like a 7 or 8. So that's what I got on that. And so far, the hardest part of the project is getting a data set of the leads, because I've dug around through you know, customer success stories, and looked at some posts on Facebook, and looked at all the testimonials and stuff. I've only been able to gather about 30 actual paying customers. And then I looked through their competitors to find about 16 or 17 customers that are of their competing brands that are most likely not customers of them, of that company. But it's still only have 46 data points, and it's really hard to find enough data. So that seems to be the main bottleneck with it. And then as far as actually getting the data, some data is harder to get than others, but it's actually, the data seems relatively, collecting the features necessary seems relatively doable. It's just finding who the leads are is the hard part. So the metrics we're looking at, there's like 5 metrics that are a high priority for the business in this case. So we've got our SQL closing rate. So that's sales qualified lead closing rate. So that's like the ratio. So like within all the leads that get closed, there's a ratio of how many came in through the sales process, through the sales team, and then how many came in through inbound marketing, like a Facebook ad or an opt-in or something like that. And we're trying to increase that ratio of the sales qualified leads. The sales cycle length, this is less of a direct priority, but if we're able to like basically quantify the quality of the leads, then the company should be able to find ways to close faster and speed up the sales cycle to basically the time from discovery to closing, you know, shorten that time window. And then there's also this other metric that I kind of made up. I'm not really sure if this is even a thing, but I call it SQC revenue, and that's like basically so sales qualified customer revenue. So like of all of the customers that we've closed through our outbound sales process, like how much revenue is that? How much revenue are we getting from customers that we close through our outbound sales process? And then customer LTV, because if a customer is worth more per month than their LTV, assuming everything else is higher, their lifetime value is automatically going to be higher. And we definitely want to help them get higher LTV customers. So the model's metrics, we're going to use precision for the classifying model because we'd rather under predict the amount of leads that are likely to close so that the sales team can narrow focus on those customers and really, you know, providing a great experience for them and making them really feel comfortable with the product. Whereas if we have too many, then it's just like they're chasing all the rabbits, basically. It's just not going to work. And I've asked, like I said, when I was asking, it's kind of funny, when I was asking some sales reps some questions, first I was asking them about like the user experience of the app and like what it would need to look like, which I just talked about, but then I was also talking about like what types of features, what type of attributes they look for in their customers or how they go about the process and like how they go about doing lead scoring without a machine learning model. And it was kind of funny because I actually pissed some guy off. Like I guess was like asking him too many like in-depth questions about his business, about the company. He's like, no, I'm not sharing that with you. But anyway, so now I'm not going to go into like every single feature that I've thought of that would be necessary, but there's like three major types of features. There is qualification features, which is like qualifies if the customer is even qualified to do business with our company here, because if they're not spending upwards 20,000 a month on ads, then they're basically too small to be useful, or it's too small to benefit from the product. And then if they are on only one traffic platform, they're less likely to feel the need to have the product, because it's what a main selling point of that product is cross-platform tracking and analytics. And then so like if they're only on one platform, that platform's analytics is probably good enough. And then there's the type of business, because we're mostly working with businesses that sell info products and things like that. And then monthly. Okay, so then there's information features, which is like just information about how the company's performing. So this is like financial numbers, revenue and profit. And then we've also got how their marketing's doing and estimating what they're spending on ads and what their product costs and how people receive the product and things like that. And that helps determine like if there's leaks in their ad spend, or if they've got a lot of potential to grow because people like their service or product or whatever. Their service or product being the customer's service or product. And then we've also got we've also got some bonus features that are probably hard to get a hold of. And then there's the last one. This is another type of data that's really hard to get a hold of, but this is relationship features, which is like the business, the customers relationship to the brand so far. Like how they discovered the brand first of all. That would be a big thing. Like where did the lead come from, and that would be a big thing. And then if they're part of the Facebook group or YouTube channel subscriber, that would also indicate that they have more trust in the brand and more likely to close. So that's basically, I'm going to talk about a couple of data sources now. So there's one data source which is the Facebook ad library, and with that I can basically I can use that to scrape the landing pages of the ads to get a better idea of how their marketing is doing, and then I can also use some other data sources. We've got Full Contact API, which has a lot of company information available, and then there's the Similar Web API, which will also be used heavily for this project. So that is like the data sources. And Similar Web API, it has all types of information about the company website's traffic and website information and stuff like that. So that is the project that's been the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hold on a second. Okay. I guess when the music starts, I'll start. God, this is so fucking funny. Like.